Picture this. You've just told grandparents not to give the baby any honey, and your own mother looks at you like you've grown a second head. Honey, I just gave you honey on toast every single morning, and you're fine. Sounds familiar? And now there's a slightly awkward silence over a Sunday lunch. So if this sounds familiar, you're not alone. Almost every parent I talk to has some version of this moment. It's not really about honey. It's about two generations, both loving the same child, working from two different rulebooks. So today, let's actually talk about why the rulebook changed. Because once you understand the why, these conversations get a lot easier and a lot less tense. And the tricky part is, obviously, nobody sends grandparents a memo when the guidelines update. So they're working from the last version they were taught, which, understandably, feels just as true to them as your version feels true to you. Now, let's walk through 4 of the biggest updates one at a time. Honey. This one's simple and non-negotiable. No honey in any form, even baked into something, before 1 year. It's not about sugar, it's about a rare but serious illness called infant botulism. Honey can carry dormant bacterial spores that an adult's mature gut handles without any issue, but a baby's developing gut can't yet keep in check. So after the first birthday, honey is completely fine. Update 2. Allergens. This is the one that surprises grandparents the most. Because for years the advice was delay peanuts, eggs and other allergenic foods as long as possible to protect the baby. And I can agree, it made sense. Less exposure, less risk, right? Except it turned out to work the opposite way. A landmark study literally called LEAP, Learning Early About Peanut Allergy, found that introducing peanut early and keeping it in rotation regularly dramatically lowered the risk of developing a peanut allergy. So, major pediatric organizations reviewed the evidence and flipped the guidance. Introducing allergenic foods like peanut and egg around 6 months or even a bit before that, in age-appropriate forms rather than just avoiding them. So think of it like teaching the immune system what's safe early on instead of leaving it to guess later. The LEAP study found that introducing peanut early to at-risk infants led to 81% relative reduction in peanut allergy by age 5, and that protection held up even years later. Update 3. Added sugar. The old rule of thumb was often a little treat never hurt anyone. And in small amounts for an older child, that's still true. But current guidance is clearer than it used to be about the first 2 years specifically. No added sugar at all under age 2. Not because one cookie is dangerous, but because a baby's diet is small and every spoonful of sugar is a spoonful that is not going toward nutrients that their brain and body are busy building. It's also the window where sweet taste preferences get wired in. And update 4. The clean plate. Many of us grew up with finish what's on your plate. Remember? It came from a place of not wanting food wasted and of course love. But research on feeding has shifted towards something called responsive feeding, following the child's own hunger and fullness cues instead of overriding them. Kids are actually born pretty good at knowing when they're full, so pressuring them to eat past that point again and again can quietly interfere with that internal signal over time. None of these updates mean anyone did anything wrong before. They mean we simply know more now. And it's worth celebrating, not defending against, right? So, what do you actually do with all this at Sunday lunch? First, lead with curiosity, not correction. Something like, isn't it wild how much the guidance changed? I read that they actually flipped the peanut advice completely. That invites grandparents into the discovery instead of putting them on the defensive. Second, give them one thing to hold on to, not 10. Nobody absorbs a full guideline overhaul in one conversation. So pick the update that matters most right now. So honey for a 6-month-old, allergens for a newly weaning baby, and just start there. Third, print or maybe forward something official. Hearing the CDC says no honey under 1 often lands more gently coming from a neutral, trusted source than from an adult child correcting their parent. And fourth, say thank you truly. Grandparents who show up, who want to feed and love your child, that's not something to take for granted, even mid-disagreement about oatmeal cookies. If navigating these conversations feels like a lot, you're not doing it wrong. It's genuinely a lot. That's exactly why I put together a free family health guide with small, realistic changes for your child's health, written so you can actually hand a page to a grandparent without starting a fight. And here's something else I want you to walk away with. This isn't about who's right, it's about a family, generations apart, aiming at the exact same goal, a happy and healthy child. The science will keep evolving, and honestly, so will you. So give yourself and your parents the same grace you are learning to give your child. If this helped make sense of things, I'd love to have you subscribe. I'm making more of these videos on the everyday science of raising healthy kids, one small doable topic at a time.